Welcome to RetroLogic. I'm Dan Caparello here with John Cummins. And this week we are going to chitty chat about Megaman 6. We're going to talk about, not much else games-wise, really. We're just going to have a ton of community questions because nothing happened this week. So that's, sometimes we have weeks like that, and that's when we get to dive deep into our amazing, stupendous community. John, what is the dealio? How are you? Your office is looking very dapper.
Yes, I'm fantastic and back in the basement instead of the garage. So no more garage bros.
Yeah, I'm stuck in the garage still. It is freezing, but I'm bundled up, so I feel good. I'm nice and cozy. And you listening, you should grab yourself a nice cup of hot cocoa, put on a sweater, and just enjoy the sultry sounds of us talking about old video games. Really, that's what we're all about around here.
For sure.
Oh, so RetroLogic is the official podcast of Blockfort Retro, the place to shop online for high quality, clean, authentic retro games. Visit blockfortretro.com to check out my store. Now, John, you recently bought something from my store because I was having 20% off all the things. Yeah. Tell me about what you got.
So from your store, I bought the NES remix for the Wii U. I have the one on the 3DS, but I don't have the Wii U version, and I'm not 100% sure if there's a difference in those two or not. But I just figured it was one I'm missing, so
not sure either.
I don't mind grabbing Wii U Nintendo first party games just because I know they're going to be, something to get a hold of later. So, yeah, definitely grab that one. And then Star Wars Empire Strikes Back for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Grab that one. I don't have that. I have the other two, but I don't have that one.
Oh, well, good.
So,
yeah, were you able to pop either of those in?
Huh?
Were you able to play either of those this week?
No, I haven't received them yet.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, I will check on that shipping for you.
Oh, no, it's not you, man. It's carriers. They're all super slow right now.
Yeah, they really are. Probably
10 things in the mail that are just kind of floating around wherever they're at right now.
Right.
I bought some Game Boy games and a few other. This has been like a retro week for me. Like I bought Pocket Bomberman for the Game Boy. I bought Ogre Battle 64 finally.
Dude,
I bought that one at a local game store.
John. Okay,
yeah, did you see that?
Hold on. This is a monumental occasion for this podcast because you are known for nothing if not your love for Ogre Battle 64. And I just want to take a moment and bask in the glory of you being able to find this game for pretty significantly under price charting, which is at like 80 to 90 now, something like that.
I think the current going price that they have on there is like 75, but if you look at the like past sales, there's several that are floating around like the $90 to $100 range even.
All I ever see is 80 to 90 on Mercari or eBay.
Yeah.
So price charting takes a while to like bring that average up.
I'll see them start on eBay around like $65, $75, but they always sell for 80 plus.
Man.
Otherwise I'd have one in my hands right now already, before this. So yeah, I was at the local vintage stock game store and I seen that they had one for $60 still, which is like the old price from pretty much like earlier this year. And they hadn't changed it yet. So I was like, it's got a little bit of scuff on the label, like a piece missing, but it's $60. I can't pass. So went ahead and picked it up because I plan on playing it. It's not going to be a, crystal case piece or anything.
Not till you get
be in my N64 here shortly.
Not till you get your complete in-box version. Then you can put that in there.
I'm actually thinking about buying a complete in-box Japanese version. They're significantly less, and the box looks way better.
That's
honestly.
true. Yeah, the art on that is a lot better.
So yeah, I think that's what the plan is. I'll probably play this one. I might even try to do some streaming of it because it's a really it's fun to watch too. There's lots of stuff going on.
Got to, man.
It's really unique as far as like the battle system. I can't think of a whole lot of games that incorporate strategy and turn-based in the way that they do. Like, it's turn-based battles, and it's more along the lines of like how a Dragon Quest or a Final Fantasy, like the older ones, play out. But yet your characters are aligned on a 9x9 grid. Some characters take up more spaces than others, but how you lay them out on the grid affects their ability to attack. Some of them have different attacks when you place them on different spots. Sometimes their attacks do more damage depending on where you have them at. So there's like a real big focus on strategy alongside the turn-based battle system. So
awesome.
It's definitely something, if you haven't played it, it's an experience. It's good.
Yeah, it is definitely something I want to dive into eventually, but at the current price, it's a little, yeah.
It is.
Until
I will say, if you want to just hop in, anybody that's curious, it was already mentioned in Discord, but this is a Wii Virtual Console game. So if you want to hop on your Wii U, or it has to be your Wii U.
Well, is it on the Wii? Is it on the Wii U Virtual Console?
It's on the Wii. It's on the Wii U Virtual Console, but it's a Wii game. Like it's a straight over from the Wii.
Yeah, but if
you know what I mean?
If it's not available on the Wii U Virtual Console, then it's gone. Because it is on the Wii U Virtual Console. Yeah, I just pulled it up. Yeah, $10. I mean, shoot.
Yeah. So anybody that's curious, yeah, it's definitely worth $10. I mean, because most people probably don't even have their N64s to play the original.
Who published this? Square Enix. Okay.
It's an Atlas game.
Well, Square published the Virtual Console version, so I wonder if that's weird. Yeah, Ogre Battle is a registered trademark of Square Enix. So
yeah, it's crazy because it's a is it Atlas or Atlas? It's the same company that does like Persona.
Yeah. That's weird, man. I don't know what the story is there. We'll have to look that up. Because this says right here, trademark of Square Enix, which gives us hope that we could see it in some form again. You know, whatever they do with N64 games.
It's not Mana or Final Fantasy, so...
Yeah, right?
It's hard to come by. RPG-wise. You know, where's my Chrono Trigger? Where's all the other good ones?
Yeah, good deal. Well, man, that is awesome. Did they happen to have any copies of Gotcha Force at this place that you?
Nope.
Nothing.
All right. I look every time.
Yeah.
Just just for you, man.
It's good.
I guarantee you that I'll run across one eventually.
It's good to have that extra pair of eyes out there. That game is a white whale for sure.
I check all the GameCube stuff anyway, just in case they're, I have a lot of them, but if there's one that's a good deal, I usually will pick it up anyway.
Awesome.
I know plenty of people with GameCube still and Wii, so if I find a good deal, I could pass it on to somebody else in the community.
Good deal.
But as far as retro goes, that's my haul for retro, but I just kind of wanted to throw out there, I also bought both of the Ori games for Switch physically, and they made it from Best Buy here recently.
Sweet. Yeah, good deal.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I didn't pick anything up this week other than digging into Cyberpunk, which I'm not going to talk about at length, but I will just say that I'm having a really good time with it. It reminds me a lot, plays a lot like Fallout. Fallout or Skyrim, just the whole like upgrade system and like solving crimes is really fun, and the world is really engrossing. I'm playing it primarily on Stadia. What was your question?
I was going to say this. I know a lot of people have been comparing this to Fallout. I think more or less just because it's a futuristic game. But
no,
how is this comparing to Witcher 3?
No, it's nothing.
How much have they improved?
It's not like Witcher 3 at all. Witcher 3 was
same developer. I'm just saying how their skills are.
Yeah, the reason I'm comparing it to Fallout isn't I mean, the setting isn't Fallout at all, really. It's a pretty developed modern day or like futuristic city that you're in. I'm comparing it to Fallout with like the upgrade system, the crafting, the like you can take stuff apart and use parts to build other things. The leveling up, just there's a lot going on with your upgrades. It's a very it's unlike Fallout. Well, it is a first person shooter, like at its core, kind of, which is a little bit like Fallout. It can be. And then it even has kind of like a SATS. Was it SATS where it slows down?
Special.
Yeah.
Or no, special was the upgrade system.
No, I think it's
FATS.
called. Yeah, FATS has something like that where you can like kind of freeze time a little bit and you can see what's like hackable in the area. It just gives me Fallout vibes.
Now, is it like whenever I play Fallout, it's story driven, but it doesn't always necessarily feel story first. Like it always seems kind of loose.
Mm-hmm. This is pretty.
Is this more story driven, like Witcher 3?
Yeah, it's very
like CD
story
Projekt Red knows how to tell a good story.
It's very story first, story
which is
heavy.
good.
And as far as I've seen, a lot of the side missions too are very deep, which is something that CD Projekt Red is known for. I luckily haven't run into really any performance issues. People have said that the deeper you get into the game, the weirder things get, glitchy wise.
Well, you're streaming too, right?
I'm playing it on Stadia, right, which is supposed to be one of the more high-end versions of the game. So
yeah. I was gonna say, if I was to play this game, the only means I have currently, other than my laptop, which probably still not very great for this, is my PlayStation 4 or my Xbox One. And I've heard it's just atrocious for those. Like, it's supposed to be almost unplayable on the original PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. Like, I just have an S.
Right.
I don't even have the X.
You probably wouldn't do very well with it. And I mean, that's a legitimate complaint, and they've sent a message out on Twitter to like kind of address that. And I don't want to get into a whole thing about it because it gets very divisive. All I know is I'm having a good time with it. I haven't run into any issues yet. But I don't want to downplay people's complaints or other people's experiences. So
yeah, no, the complaints are real, I'm sure. And that's definitely a driver for my decision based on, and I'm a function over visuals usually, because I usually don't have the highest end things. So it's definitely good to hear people speak out about it, because my only means to play this are the ones that are having the problem. So it kind of keeps me from making a bad purchase and holding off, because I do want to play it eventually, but probably through streaming means, or when I do finally buy it on a next gen.
Yeah, for sure. So the other thing I'm on the hunt for, haven't purchased yet, is I'm on the hunt for a good price for Plok for the Super Nintendo.
I just paid $16 for it.
That's a great price.
Yeah, I just went on eBay that somebody had one for, I think it was $14, and then I had to bid it up $1 or $2.
Yeah, so I've got one that's at 11 right now with a couple days left, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it. We'll see.
Somebody from our community is gonna bump you up.
Well, that's
Plok
fine.
Is in high demand right now.
That's fine. If I have to spend $20 on Plok, it's worth it. But yeah, especially with our listeners, Plok is in high demand until we all own a copy, and then the price goes back down because we have this weird temporary high demand thing going on for this stupid game. Oh man, I have a weird desire to make that next month's crossplay game, but we'll see. It's not the most accessible thing in the world, so I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. That might just be a special thing to do.
We'll have to take a poll and see how many people actually got their hands on it from the community.
I know, yeah. We might have to take a month first. Like, maybe it'll be February, and we'll spend all of January making sure everybody has a copy first. Like, just hunt a bunch down. Maybe I'll just buy a bunch of copies and I'll just sell them back to you guys. Yeah, that's what we'll do at no profit. Awesome.
Somebody out there's got to have a box full of them.
Oh, man. Why? Because they bought them all out when the N64 came out and nobody wanted to play it anymore. That's what happened.
Garrett, this game was for sure a $3 bargain bin game at some point.
I don't even know what the release date is. What's the release date? Yeah, so September 93. So it was just a few years before the N64. So at some point, it just hit bargain bin.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not as late in the life cycle as I was thinking it was.
No.
But yeah, I guarantee just based on how the game performed, I'm sure that it was probably bargain at some point.
Yeah, that's weird, actually. I thought it was much later than that. Is this the Japanese release date?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I know some people in the community were saying it was a late release, but I didn't actually look it up.
It isn't at all. September 93 in North America. Released in North America first. Software Creations and American developer. So
couple of years into SNES, so that wouldn't even been close.
It's very interesting. Man, it's hard to remember all those dates and everything and just time frames.
Yeah.
So
Super Nintendo is hard for me to pinpoint because I didn't have a lot of those games at that point in time.
Right.
N64 I'm a lot better with because I bought a lot of those games myself. But Super Nintendo was still I was 10 years old.
Yeah, ditto.
So
well, I don't want to Plok block you, John, but we've got to get into some prices retro.
Plok block. Let's do it.
Nice. Okay, so for the listeners who don't know how to play Prices Retro, John and I each made a list of games. We priced out those games on pricecharting.com, and we have organized them into lots, and you have to guess how much the lot is worth based on the list that we give you of game, system, and condition. So, it's fun to play along at home, and I would love to hear from you. You can @ me on Twitter at BlockfortRetro and let me know if you got close, if you got far, or if you kicked our butts. So, John, we are going to do 2 rounds of Prices Retro. We'll start off easy, and then we'll go into hard mode, which is always fun.
Hard mode.
Yeah, so why don't you go first this time?
All right, so the first game on my first list is Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen for the Super Nintendo, loose.
Okay.
Perfect Dark, N64, loose. Mole Mania for the Game Boy, loose. And then Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast, complete.
Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast. Okay. All right. Okay, I've got my number. I'm going to say 125 for that lot.
All right, so my lot cost 168.
Okay.
So you're pretty close.
Not too bad, not too bad. I think I was low on that mole game because I have no idea what the hell that thing is.
Oh man, that's a great one. We'll have to talk about that at some point.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after when we get to your prices. Okay.
Awesome.
So mine,
all right.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. We've got Gradius 3 for Super Nintendo, cartridge only. Megaman X for Super Nintendo, cartridge only. Sim City for Super Nintendo, cartridge only. And Super Mario World for Super Nintendo, cartridge only. I tried to go launch window Super Nintendo games for this one.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say $130. Might be a little low, but that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Well, $56.70 is what my lot is worth. So I don't know where you...
Geez. I was thinking that Mega Man X was a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
I might be thinking of the later X games.
Oh, X2 and X3 are easily $100 plus, but the first one sold very, very well. So...
That's where I'm off. Well, then, yeah, I just killed my score. So what'd you say again it was?
The total is 56. We'll say $57 to round it. If you're doing whole dollar amounts.
57. Yeah, I usually try to round up the cents or round down. All right.
Okay. So we've got. Let's do our prices individually for the first round now, and then we'll do hard mode.
All right. So Ogre Battle for the Super Nintendo loose is $105.
That's dang it. I had like 80, and I knew that was low, but I was like, maybe it's not that much.
The second game, Perfect Dark, for the N64 loose is only $14. That's a crime. I was
pretty close on that one. Yeah, but it sold a lot, and yeah.
Yeah, it did. But man, it's a good game.
The demand
for the Game Boy.
The demand for like non-Nintendo IP games in general on N64 are pretty low. Like even Blast Corps, which is like amazing, like maybe $10-15. So
that's still a rare game.
Yeah, but it's not a Nintendo IP, and these days that means everything. So
true. Okay, so Mole Mania for the Game Boy loose is $24.
I knew it. I put like $5. I had no idea.
This is a Miyamoto game.
Is it? Wow.
It is. You'll have to check it out. It's pretty cool.
I have to look that up.
Yeah, the fourth game on my list, Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast Complete, is $25.
Okay, I was pretty close on that one too, because I've been looking at Dreamcast lots. I've been looking at them because I want to get one, but
you hard mode me on the Super Nintendo just because I'm not familiar with a lot of the prices there.
Dude, I'm sorry that I thought I went easy on you on that one. I don't know. So,
all right, list them out individually and let's see where I went wrong.
All right, Gradius 3 is $13.
Yeah, see, I thought that one might have been worth a little bit more than that too.
Megaman X is $22.
Yeah, see, I was thinking that was more like $70-$80 range.
Oh man, no, sorry,
that's where I
not
went.
The first one.
That killed my whole. Well, I mean, I was $73 off, so
dang.
Most of that was that one.
Yeah. SimCity is $6.
Yeah, I knew that was dirt cheap.
And Super Mario World is $16.
Yep.
Yeah. But
that's about where I had those ones.
That one, the price charting can be tricky because Super Mario World skews higher, like skews at 20 to 25 easily.
Yeah.
So
it actually jumps around quite a bit. Even on like GameStop will have it priced differently here and there. But yeah, definitely the not knowing the price of Gradius 3 and way overshooting X.
Man, like X killed you, dude. I'm sorry.
I just thought it was a more valuable. It did. Oh no, it's good. That's how it works.
That's why you got to learn yourself some game prices.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. Hey, you listen to.
I actually might have to buy a physical copy of X now if I know it's that cheap.
Listen to enough RetroLogic, and you'll get all the prices eventually.
Yeah,
we're only on episode 12. Yeah, sure, that's true. They keep coming out with games. We'll just do some modern stuff.
Rotate the. I mean, everything becomes retro eventually.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
right,
you ready for round 2?
Ready for hard mode. You go first.
All right. First game on my hard mode list is Jack Bros for the Virtual Boy loose.
Good Lord, Virtual Boy stuff is such a. Okay.
Second game is Super Mario Brothers 3, the challenge set version complete. The one that I have. How much is that worth?
Okay.
And then third game is Wave Race for the Game Boy loose.
Okay.
The fourth game is Mario Pinball Land for the Game Boy Advance loose.
Okay. Some of these I am just guessing, like an educated guess, we'll say. Okay, so my guess for your lot, hard mode lot, is $155.
All right. That first game just ate your lunch.
Oh,
but, the total for this lot is $648.
No freaking way. I knew it too. I just knew. I had to like calculate in my head, like, man, some of those Virtual Boy games are expensive, but some of them are cheap. And how do I know? I don't know what Jack Bros is.
Yeah, this is the most expensive one, and it's a. This is a. What do they call it? Shin Megami Tensei game. Like it's a spinoff. Yeah, it's really obscure. You'll have to look it up.
That is such a world.
It's fun.
That is a franchise and a system that I know nothing about. So
yeah,
$600. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the rest of those games weren't worth very much at all.
No, and I knew that. I could guess that, but all right. Okay, here we go.
I got you.
You did.
All
you
right.
got me. I mean, I deserved it. I've been getting you. I've gotten you before, so. Okay. You ready for mine?
Yes. Shoot.
The first one is Phantasy Star Online Episodes 1 and 2 Plus for the GameCube, complete in box. The second one is Phantasy Star for the Sega Master System, complete in box. The third one is Phantasy Star Collection for the Game Boy Advance, cartridge only. And the fourth one is Phantasy Star 4 for the Sega Genesis, complete in box.
Yeah, this is going to be a total guess on these. I have a feeling those GameCube Phantasy Star games are going to be pretty pricey.
Educated guess, John.
So I'm going to go $250, and I'm probably not even close.
Oh, my friend. Okay, $286.32.
Oh,
dang, man. You had some knowledge in that head somehow, because
well, like I said, I think the GameCube ones are pricey. Like I know that.
Yeah.
I don't think even Phantasy Star, the original one complete, I don't think that's going to be very, very pricey.
Well, part of what's tricky about the GameCube ones is there's two versions of it. There's the Plus version and the non-Plus version, and the Plus version is the expensive one. So it seems like you made a right choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and do your values now that we know that I know nothing about Jack Bros.
So Jack Bros is a $583 loose game.
I guessed like 100. Stupid.
Yeah, it's the hardest Virtual Boy game to get. It's one that I want, but I will never purchase. It's just too far out there. And it's more than I paid for my whole Virtual Boy collection, including the console itself.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers 3, the challenge set, complete is a $49 value. Wave Race for the Game Boy is a measly $6.
Yeah, I was close on the rest of these too. Yeah. Dang, man.
And Mario Pinball Land is $10.
Yeah.
For the GBA.
I was like within $5 or $10 on the rest of them, but Jack Bros just destroyed me. Well, now I'll never forget. Now I know if I ever see Jack Bros laying around.
If you see a Jack Bros and it's less than $200, pick it up. Hey,
the Japanese version goes for about $100, so there's that.
Well, that's the thing is usually the Japanese versions of the Virtual Boy games, since it's not region locked, they usually go for quite a bit cheaper. And most of them don't have any real dialogue in them because that wasn't the focus of the Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
You weren't made to play for long periods of time, so they left a lot of dialogue out.
I'm going to have to do some research.
You can pick those games up.
Right. I'm going to have to do some research and see if there's a viable way to play Virtual Boy ROMs. I don't know anything about that, but that might be something I need to do just to get some knowledge in there. Got to grow that knowledge bank. Okay. It's Phantasy Star games. You ready?
Let's do it.
So the reason I had Phantasy Star on the brain is I was really close to winning a GameCube lot that had a bunch of RPGs in it. And there's Skies of Arcadia and Fire Emblem and Phantasy Star Online are just astronomically expensive. So that thing shot up way above my price range real fast. But the prices, we've got Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 Plus for the GameCube is $136. What was your guess on that one? Yeah.
I figured $150.
Yeah. Phantasy Star for the Sega Master System, $110 complete in a box, which surprised me.
Yeah, that's the one that I was thinking like $60. Mm-hmm. So I undershot that one a little bit and probably overshot the other two a little bit.
And then Phantasy Star Collection for the Game Boy Advance, $17, which I was also surprised about.
I was thinking about 30 on that one, so I made some up of my Master System one.
And then Phantasy Star 4 for the Sega Genesis, $108 complete in box. So,
yeah,
you kicked my butt hard on the hard mode today, man, just because I don't know anything about Virtual Boy. I need to just pull the trigger and buy one, for crying out loud. It's been too long.
I love them. They're like, I played one as a kid a whole lot. I had a buddy that had one, and I never got one until about a year ago. I finally decided it was the only Nintendo console I didn't own. So I was like, I owe it to myself to just go ahead and pick one up. So.
That's basically where I'm at. So why the heck not? So that was The Price is Retro. If you've got a list of games that you want us to guess on the next episode, that would be a cool thing to do. So go ahead and shoot that over to me on Discord, or you can shoot it to my Twitter. And we will have the honor system where we will not look up the games prior to the episode. It's an honor system because because here's why. Because the points don't matter. That's why. It's not like anybody's winning a prize here. It's just for fun.
We don't win any money.
Just funsies. Fun. So if you want to have fun with us, send us your list of 4 games. There's my dryer. 4 games to at Blockfort Retro, and we will try to get that in soon. So we have quite a crossplay to talk about this week, John, because we are in week 2 of Megamandum in December, doing running through a bunch of Mega Man games on the NES, rolling the dice to see which of the 6 Mega Man games we're playing. And this week, we were commanded by the dice to play Mega Man 6. And it was quite a transition coming off of Mega Man 1 from last week. Things like, I didn't know when I started Mega Man 6 up that you start with the slide and the charge shot. I did not know that. So the first, you jump into the first level, Flame Man, I think, and I can't get past this one part because I don't know how to kill this one enemy, and I can't get out of the goop to get over this ledge. So I'm like, what do I do? I eventually just figured it out on my own that I have the charge shot, but I asked on Twitter, I asked other friends. It was a whole thing. And then other people were having trouble with the same part. It was brutal initially going from 1 to 6, I will say.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of the community that are Mega Man guys consider this an easier game than the first one. I had a way easier time. I couldn't even get past Plant Man's stage on this game. Yeah. Like, I tried for a couple hours, and there's 2 rounds of mini bosses in that stage that you have to go through. The guys with the tracks.
I hate those guys.
And they just constantly roll towards you the whole time. I couldn't get past them. Which shows you how little of a Mega Man game guy that I am.
I got to the point, and here's the thing. I have no shame in telling you that I spam the rewind when I play these games. To the point where if I get hit one time by an enemy that was like, I'm like, I could have avoided that. I'll just rewind it and reach to the play. Yeah, I'll just like rewind it and be like, nope. I'm just playing with time. I just pretend it's a mechanic of the game because that's, you know what I mean? It's just whatever. So I had the same issue with those guys. So I had to replay the level and just not get hit at all until I got to those guys, and then just like barrage them with fire and just get hit where I did, because they're really, really hard to get through without getting hit.
Man, they are.
Yeah. So I got through Plant Man and Tomahawk Man, but I did not beat the real version of Tomahawk Man or whatever, because there's like fake boss battles in some of these, which Marty was talking about. And when he said that, I was like, okay, I'm just not going to worry about that.
Yeah. I had a friend tell me about the fake bosses. He's like, you got to fight the real one. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Isn't there only one? That's what I was thinking in my head.
There was already enough BS going on in this game that I was like, I'm not going to worry about that.
Yeah, it was the game was brutal for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I made it through Fireman, Blizzard Man. I think that's what his name is. It's Flame Man, Blizzard Man. And then I got all the way to the second mini boss on Plant Man and just got stuck.
Yeah, and then Tomahawk Man is the one right after Plant Man, and I beat him, and then I didn't have time to finish the rest of it, and I don't feel bad about not finishing it. It's just, this is my first time through it. I'll get back to it eventually, but it was really great to get that experience because it's my first time playing it.
That's the idea of Mega Man, and we're spending a week on these.
Yeah, it's not like I have a ton of time.
Yeah, these are games that when we were kids, you would have spent 6 months on these games. Easy. to get good to complete them,
Easy. And then 6 months later, a new one would come out. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So our community had some things to say about Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 6 and just the transition between them. Marty starts us out. He was our guest last week, Mega Man expert, Mega Man aficionado, if you will. He says, playing through Mega Man 6 reminds me how weird it is. Almost as much of a sore thumb from the rest of the series as 1 is. Lots of new mechanics they tried, no rush, real/fake boss gates, energy balancer, jetpack, and power pack. After 5, it's almost too easy. Yeah, so he's saying 6 is probably the easiest of the 6. Because apparently 5 is a lot more difficult.
Either that or he's saying 5 is the most difficult.
He said after 5, it's almost too easy. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out if we roll 5 today.
Gosh, I hope not.
Adrock says, all these, our community is in Discord, so all these comments come from our Discord community, which you can find a link to and join up in my Twitter bio at Block4Retro. So Adrock says, Mega Man 1 was quite enjoyable and just about as good as I remembered. Mega Man 6 is a mixed bag. I consider myself a pretty seasoned gamer, and I played and beat most of these games as a kid, but the boss battles in 6 are way too difficult and to the point that I simply gave up out of frustration and boredom instead of wanting to push through to beat them. I really can't wait to go through Mega Man 2 and 3 as they are my favorites. Yeah, they're heralded as the best, and we are yet to roll them. So, the only reason I got as far as I did at 6 is my skill using the rewind.
Yes, it's a skill.
Yeah. Okay. Spider Shan in Discord says, not sure if I replied in time, but my experience with Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 6, by the way, yes, you did reply in time. My experience with Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 6 is that I feel like the platforming has improved a lot over the course of the NES games. I still died a lot in Mega Man 6. Thank you, save states. But it didn't feel as cheap as when I did in 1. I think he says in 1, yeah. I felt like the deaths were more my fault than bad level design. On the other hand, I struggled more on the Robot Masters and at the end of each stage in Mega Man 6 than 1. At the end of each stage of 6 more than 1. Okay. Even when using the right weapon against them. Not sure if they were just tougher or if it was just me. I'm trying to think about what I thought about Mega Man 1.
I know what he's talking about with the bosses. Because
yeah.
With Mega Man 1, if you had the right weapon, you could usually take a boss out in like 4 hits max. So a lot of times 2 would do it. In this game, I had the flame cannon or whatever going after Blizzard Man, and it felt like it took just as long as it did when I had just the blaster.
Oh, that's right. I was assuming it was just like Mega Man 1, and I was spamming the correct weapon, but then I would always end up going back to the Buster because it's like, well, no, this just shoots forward, and that's all I need, and it's not helping me.
Yeah. The flame one too, you have to like time it because it's a little pillar thing.
Right. Yeah. I actually used Blizzard Man's attack on both Plant Man and Tomahawk Man because it's like a spread.
Little scatters. Yeah, it's like shotgun.
So once I realized that it didn't matter which weapon you used, I was like, well, screw you. I'll just do whatever I want then, since I'm invincible in that game now. Finally, we have Brian, who says Mega Man 6 I did not like so much. I've got 4 to 5 bosses defeated, and it just doesn't slap like Mega Man 2 does, which apparently Mega Man 2 slaps. We'll find out. I'm playing on 3DS, which doesn't have rewind, but it does have save states. And I save state sometimes after every successful enemy kill or encounter, or at least every cleared screen. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Seems kind of necessary.
To with that rewind.
Right, exactly.
Awesome. Playing in the time frame we are, yeah.
Yeah, and somebody else in the Discord said that in North America, at least, Mega Man 6 launched after Mega Man X on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting.
Mega Mole.
Because I find, it was Mole, because he's a Mega Man expert as well. I find the graphics in Mega Man 6 to be like pretty close to like Super Mario World level of detail, you know? The bosses and the animation are almost up to like anime style, which is like really, really good for the NES. So
to me, it was like a very close comparison to, what we just played was very close to going from Super Mario Brothers 1 to 3.
Right. Exactly.
That's what it felt like to me.
You know, three's closer to World than it is to 1. And so like, I feel that way about Mega Man. Mega Man 6 is closer to X than it is to 1.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now it did take Capcom 6 times to get there versus 3, but
yeah. I'd love to have a discussion someday about, which franchise is more polished, because I would highly argue that Mario Brothers is a more polished and more enjoyable experience and just longer in general. So I don't mind them taking their time with it.
I don't know. At this point, I think it would take me longer to beat Mega Man 6 than it would to beat Mario 3.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Awesome. Well, good. Let's go ahead and roll that dice, John. Let's get that dice out, and we will see if what we're playing next week.
Roll for the next game. And number 2.
Yes!
The one that everybody wanted.
We did it, guys. Listen, we had to get through the tough stuff. We had to get through 1 and 6, and now the Mega Man gods have smiled upon us, and we can play 2.
And give us the favorite.
Yes, good deal. Hopefully we roll 3 next time, too. I would love to see the difference between those two. This is going to be a very interesting contrast to see, like, okay, played the first one, played the last one. Now let's play what is heralded as the best of the series, And I think 2 is the one available on the NES Classic. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's good.
It's
that makes it
available to the one guy that bought it from your store, the arcade one.
Hey, yeah, whoever that was. I'm just gonna double check that Mega Man 2 is available. Ding ding ding.
It's the one that's available on the. It's not available on NSO for the Switch, but it is available for the NES Classic.
Ding, 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 ding. Looking for it in the list. They don't make it easy. I don't see Mega Man listed.
It's on the Classic. It's on the NES Classic. Similar to how X got put on the Super Nintendo Classic.
Okay. It's just not listed here, which is weird. I don't want to tell people something wrong.
Are you looking on the official Nintendo website?
Yeah, I am. But, okay. You know what? Let's not worry about it. It is, most of the people who are playing this bought it on the Switch, and that's how I'm going to play it handheld. I'm not going to fire up my TV just to play this, because my life is full of children, which does not allow me to play video games on a TV very often. So
I was going to say, hold on 1 second, and I can verify.
All right, John's going to go pull up his NES Classic Edition right now, because this is how things are run on this show. And when he comes back, I have a question for him about who next week's guest is. So, are you back? No, you're not. Okay, I have a question for you while you do that. Oh, there's the box.
And Mega Man 2 right here.
Okay, there it is.
On the box.
They just didn't put it on the website for whatever reason. Question for you, John. Is the guest that we had planned up ready to go next week?
Yeah, we should be having the Mega Mole, the Mole Man himself, or Muffin Man, whatever you want to call him.
Third strongest mole, Sam, is going to be our guest next week to talk to us about Mega Man 2 and to help us start to get some more experts here on this game that I don't have a lot of experience with.
Well, and I think with Sam, I kind of talked to him about getting into some of the more obscure side of Mega Man as well, with like the Battle Network, and we're going to probably go over, like, he's just going to go Mega Man crazy on us and fill us in on everything.
Awesome. I love it. And I love Sam for being interested in the obscure stuff, because that's a soft spot in my heart as well. Good deal. Well, John, let's take a little bit of a break here. And then when we come back, we're going to do a little bit of news. And then I have 4 community questions for us to burn through. Back. I hope that you had a wonderful break, as we did. Our first piece of news is something that John really wanted to highlight, and I think it's super cool. John, why don't you go ahead and chat a little bit about these wood carvings?
So I think this has actually been shared on a few other websites. I think I've seen it on Nintendo Life, maybe. A few other ones, but there is a Etsy shop that sells these wood carvings of cartridges, game cases. They'll even do customized stat sheets, like from RPG games. Like they have several advertised of they'll cut out your party from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, I see one here for Pokemon
stats.
I see one here for Pokemon. That's Pokemon, cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get a wooden version of your Pokemon screen from your Game Boy game.
Oh, they have a Mega Man. They have a Mega Man 2 boss screen too. That's cool.
Yeah, they do all kind, and they do custom work too. So if there's a box art or a cartridge or game case or something on there that they don't have on the store, I think it's something where you just communicate with them and they can make it happen. So. And cool. They're pricey, but man, there's some excellent work. Definitely worth the money.
They range from about $40 to upwards of $200.
So I've seen a lot of the game cases and the cartridges and stuff for like $100.
But they are beautiful. I mean, these things are absolutely gorgeous. Just some of the custom cartridge work that he's done on like these Super Nintendo and N64 games. That's just amazing.
I'm going to have to get an Ogre Battle one now.
Yeah, I saw that one here. I see the Star Fox 64 custom cartridge, and I'm like, all right, yeah, that's something that I would totally spend money on. Love it. Wow, dude. Yeah. So go ahead.
Check it out.
I'll go ahead and put a link to it in the show notes. But the Etsy shop is called Pigmented, Pigminted. Yep. So go ahead and search for that and just take a look around, even if you don't buy something, because it is a sight to behold for sure.
I mean, we're not in any way affiliated with this, but definitely they do some good looking stuff. Yeah. Definitely go check it out, just if you're curious even.
No, I'm all about supporting the community and other creators and stuff. So if you do something cool, shoot me up on Twitter and let me know, because I would love to highlight you. Helps us all out.
Similar to the hand-drawn game guide guy. That guy does really good artwork and illustrations, and we've quietly chatted about trying to find this guy and see if he'd want to come on and talk about it, even because the stuff that he makes is just out of this world.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, thanks, John, for highlighting that and keeping that alive. That is really cool. So we have got a plethora of community questions to go through tonight, and there's no shortage of things to talk about. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to start things off with Andros, who has 2 questions for us tonight. The first one is, do you prefer 2D or 3D for Nintendo's big franchises? Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Pokemon, Donkey Kong, Kid Icarus, etc., etc. I am in favor. I really just depend on the franchise for me, for sure. 2D Pokemon is the best Pokemon. And that's kind of a weird thing to say because we have 3D Pokemon now because of the Switch, but before that they were all pretty much 2D, top down. But I was
3DS kind of gave us a 2.5D kind of look.
But it was still on a grid and I just wasn't a fan of Sword and Shield for a lot of other reasons, but I'm just, I just have a nostalgia for that. But Metroid, on the other hand, is one that I prefer the 3D versions of. And really that just boils down to that's the Prime series got me into Metroid, So that's what I started with. That's what I'm used to. Going back to a 2D Metroid isn't like unplayable at any rate. I mean, I love 2D Metroid. I just have so much more nostalgia and affinity for Metroid Prime, Prime 2, Prime 3 than I do for any of the other ones.
So why don't we go down this list here and I'll cover the two you already did. Pokemon, definitely like the older games better, the 2D ones. Metroid, I'm a 2D Metroid guy for the most part. The Prime series is, I played the first game and liked it. Haven't played the second or third game. I plan on going back to them whenever they release the trilogy on the Switch at some point, which I know is going to happen. Just waiting on it. But so on here, Mario, are you 3D Mario, 2D Mario?
Oh man. Like if I have to choose one, probably 3D Mario. If I'm just thinking about like what gives me the good yummy feels in my tummy when I play it, probably 3D Mario. But that's like choosing children. Like I can't like, I mean, there are days where I go into Super Mario World and I'm like, no, this is what I like, So that's kind of a toss up for me.
If I go by my playtime, I'm going to say 3D Mario. I probably play a lot more 3D Mario than I did 2D.
Right.
Even though I grew up on 2D Mario, I think definitely sunk more hours into 64 and Odyssey and even Galaxy. Put more time into those. Maybe even just because they're longer. I'm not sure. How about Zelda?
Yeah, so Zelda, definitely 3D. I started my Zelda journey on Ocarina of Time. Wind Waker is my favorite Zelda of all time. Love Twilight Princess. Liked Skyward Sword. Love Breath of the Wild. When I go back and play a 2D Zelda, or even when I play like the Link's Awakening remake, I absolutely love it. Like I love Zelda to my core. But if I'm gonna have to choose, it has to be 3D. That's just where my nostalgia is, and that's where my love for Zelda started.
I'm 3D with Zelda as well.
Mm-hmm.
Being that I pushed for Breath of the Wild to be the number one Zelda game, I kind of have to be. I do enjoy 2D Zelda as well. In fact, Link Between Worlds, if we would have had handhelds on that list, Link Between Worlds probably would have been my number 2 of all time.
Yeah.
So they have their place for sure.
Yeah, and
how about Kirby?
Don't get me wrong about this, because I would love a new 2D Zelda. Like that'd be super cool, or like a 2D Zelda collection or something.
I would definitely take one as well.
Oh, Kirby! There's no 3D Kirby games. What are we talking about here?
He has Kirby on there, and I figured I would put it on there just to see what you said.
Yeah. Okay. So hold on. Do I like Kirby's Air Ride and Kirby's Golf, or do I like Kirby platformers? No, I'm sorry. There is no 3D Kirby game.
Oh, I thought you were saying just no to Kirby altogether.
No, Kirby's fine. I don't hate Kirby.
You're like, Kirby, no.
Yeah, right? 2D or 3D? No. No, I like Kirby. I just don't know what a 3D Kirby game is. Show me what that is and I'll choose.
Yeah, Kirby's another one of those. Like you kind of get, even the newer ones are still 2D, but they're like 2.5D, I guess. Like they're 3D graphics, but they're in a 2D setting. Yeah, that's 2D to me. I mean, that's a 2D platformer. The difference to me is like, do I have camera control? Am I behind their shoulder? You know what I mean? Like, is it first person? Whatever. And then Donkey Kong. Where are you at on Donkey Kong?
Definitely 2D. There's only one other choice, right? Like, What am I going to choose? The entire history of Donkey Kong and the Return series, or Donkey Kong 64? What's my choice?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is where you usually bash my opinion that Donkey Kong 64 is garbage.
It's not garbage. It's just not as good as the other. It's still a good game.
It's not good. It's bad.
All right. Okay.
It's so bad.
Agree to disagree there, John. I suppose that means 2D for you then on Donkey Kong.
2D for Donkey Kong, yeah, for sure. All the way back to the original. All right, the last one he has on here is Kid Icarus, which I have to go 2D, I guess, because I didn't play Uprising.
I'm going to go... Uprising is the only one that I played up for a long time. Never played the original until I got it on a virtual console.
There's only 3.
Yeah, and it was very, very difficult, and I enjoyed my time with Uprising, so I'm going to choose Uprising based on my experiences. Had I loved Kid Icarus as a kid on the NES, maybe my opinion would be different, but I liked Uprising, so I have a couple others that we could just go through really quick.
I'd almost have to go Uprising anyway, just because 2D Kid Icarus was so dang difficult. Like, I'm sure that I probably would have picked Uprising over the original anyway.
For sure. Okay, I have a couple others that I want to throw at you. We can go through them quickly. Pikmin.
Okay. Pikmin? You got me on it. This one's so hard because I really did enjoy Pikmin, but you can call it garbage all you want. I know you don't like it.
You know what? It's fine. It's just not Pikmin.
Sure it is. They're all there.
Well, here's the thing. There's a difference between games that were birthed in 3D and games that were birthed in 2D. It is hard. You know, you have your Chibi Robos and your Pikmins and your Star Fox. There is no 2D Star Fox game, you know?
No, but there should be.
Oh my gosh.
You could totally have a 2D Star Fox. Hold on. That's like a Megaman game.
No, why has the idea of a 2D shmup Star Fox game never crossed my mind before, John?
I don't know, but it sounds good.
See, now I want something that I will never have thanks to you.
It's funny that you went towards the flying aspect, and I like Star Fox Adventure probably almost... I don't know. I'm weird, I guess. I like Star Fox Adventure. So I was thinking like a 2D Star Fox that's like a Metroid or a Mega Man, where he just has his blaster and he's shooting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would play anything that they put Star Fox in. So that sounds good to me. All right, Andros, your second question. We have, if you could revive any IP from the dead and give it a next-gen game, this is a weird wording that I did not read ahead of time. If you could revive any IP from the dead and have a next-gen game made using it, what would it be? And why did you pick that game? Did you pick a game, John?
Yeah, I definitely have to go with the before-mentioned Ogre Battle series just because we haven't got one. It's been since the N64, man. We're like four generations of Nintendo in without, so it's definitely doable too.
Yeah,
I could just make it look better.
This was it was hard for me to pick one for this because there's a lot of dead franchises. There's a lot of dead franchises that I love. You got your Gotcha Force, you got your F-Zero.
How many Gotcha Forces are there?
There is only the one.
So is that a franchise or is that a one-hit wonder?
You know what, John? Let's talk about my Gotcha Force that way, okay? He said IP, not franchise, okay? It is technically an intellectual property.
It is an intellectual property.
And it is very, very dead. He said revive from the dead, so I can't say like Star Fox because it's not like dead necessarily, you know? But even though I would do it differently. So
hey, we just had Star Fox Battle for Atlas, didn't we?
Yeah, which is amazing. It's the best Star Fox game in like 3 generations.
Oh, wait a minute. Starlink, right?
Yeah.
Which I just seen that Ubisoft's giving that away for free now. Like it's hit below $5. Like they're just giving it to you. They're like, here, play this.
And the sad thing is, it's a fantastic game. It's really
It's good.
So
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I don't even know what I would choose for this. I like my canned answer is Gotcha Force, but that's like I don't even know what they would do with that because it's such a weird, I don't even know, man. I have to think about that some more. I'll let you guys know in Discord.
You're not like a pining for F-Zero guy?
I don't know how you improve on F-Zero GX. If you make F-Zero GX into a like a Tetris 99 thing, like that'd be cool. Or just re-release
race until
just re-release F-Zero GX because that was like the perfect F-Zero game. I don't know how you improve upon it. I'm not one of these F-Zero apologists who think it like they need to keep making it. It's the same game over and over again. And I'm going to get some hate for that, but that's how I feel. Third strongest mole. Question for the show. I haven't played hardly any Sega games. I see the various Sega Classic collections go on sale from time to time. Which one should I start with? Note, don't really care for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Man, well, right there.
It's a good thing you don't care for Sonic the Hedgehog because you will not be able to play the two best Sonic the Hedgehog games on any of the collections available today, which is 2
Sonic and Knuckles love,
which is 3 and Knuckles. So you're speaking of the Sonic Classics collection for the Switch, I think, which I have. Sega Classic collections. I'm gonna look up the list right now.
There's a bunch of games on there.
And I'm going to tell you why that game is amazing. Amazing.
I will say that the Sega Classics collection is a great value. But if you appreciate, I would say, improvements on some of these older games, the Sega Ages is almost the way to go because you get the classic game, but you get quality of life improvements alongside them, and they're still cheap. I mean, they go on sale for like $4 to $6 all the time, and you get the best version of that game ever produced. So, like Phantasy Star, they've added so many improvements on that game.
Yeah, for sure.
They make it playable. Like it's really hard to play the original.
Yeah. So I will say that on the Sega Classics collection, there is quite a bit of trash that you just don't even need to bother with. Save for the following games, which FYI, this is totally my opinion. Save for Comic Zone.
Yes.
Echo the Dolphin and Tides of Time.
Mm-hmm.
The Kid Chameleon. Rystar. Rystar is Sonic the Hedgehog if you don't like Sonic the Hedgehog, because Rystar is all about platforming and shooting. It's great.
It's a better Sonic.
And Toe Jam and Earl.
There's no Rocket Knight, is there?
No. Rocket Knight is Konami, and they will never let that game go.
Man, it's just so good, though. It needs to be on that collection.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? I may have been looking at the wrong list. I was looking at the wrong list. There's way more games. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, there's like 50
Scratch
games
that last
on there.
list. Okay, here we go. Comic Zone, I said. Dynamite Headdy, which is a Treasure developed platformer. If you don't know who Treasure is, they're one of the best retro developers ever made. They're also the developers of Ikaruga. They're amazing.
Yep.
The Echo the Dolphin games, not Echo Jr. Gunstar Heroes. Oh my gosh. Gunstar Heroes is on that.
Gunstar, yeah.
Gunstar Heroes is amazing. Kid Chameleon is great. The Phantasy Star games are good, but don't play them on the Genesis collection because they don't have the necessary improvements, in my opinion, that the Ages games have. Rystar is amazing. You don't like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Ain't nothing else good.
Toe Jam and Earl.
That's an acquired taste.
And
though.
the Wonder Boy games are pretty good.
Yeah. I think that might be up Sam's alley.
Mm-hmm.
You could also get the, if you wait just a little bit longer, I bet that Genesis Classic will hit like $20.
Oh yeah.
That thing's gotta be.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's
the
physical one, the mini console.
Oh yeah. Well, you kind of want to have that digitally though. The Genesis collection, because you just kind of fire it up, play a little bit of a game. You don't want to have to pop a cartridge in. It does go on sale frequently though. It hovers around $10-15, even if full price is $20. So if you really want to dive into some cool games, see the list I just mentioned. I'll try to throw that list of my favorites somewhere, maybe in the show notes or maybe on Twitter. So you guys can have an actual list, but that is my humble opinion of the top tier games. And if you don't like Sonic, then you can just ignore the rest of the whole list. So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
So our next question comes.
Sega does.
The what?
I think Sega does like Sonic.
They do. And I like Sonic, but I understand that he's an acquired taste. Jason Lee asks, what % of your playtime is spent on retro games? I'd say probably 15% for me. I normally have 5 to 6 games in my rotation, but I always make sure one of them is a retro game. Currently, it's Mario Super Picross, and I've gotten so much out of the NES, SNES, Switch Online games. I love the service, and yeah, I wish they'd add more games to it. I agree. 5 to 6 games at a time. Jason is a machine.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's no way I would forget how to play the games while I'm. It's like, that's too many games for me. So John, what's your usual swath of games that you have going on?
You know what? I had to think about this. I want to say that I'm at least 25, if not 30% of the time retro. It probably should be more because we do a retro show, and it probably is more now that we do the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Versus what it used to be, because definitely doing crossplay makes it to where I always put half of my time into at least that game every week. But yeah, I'm going to say on the safe side, I tend to be at least 30% retro.
I am around there. It's more now. It used to be about 30. It's probably more like 50 now. Because I'll rotate in and out. About 4 games is my maximum. And I'll have one big giant AAA thing happening, which right now is Cyberpunk. I'll have one indie game or like a smaller game, which I actually don't have right now, but I am probably going to grab Grindstone now that that's out and play that. And then I have 2 retro games usually running. Right now we have the Megaman thing going on, and I don't think I have another one right now. It's just hard to, without a lot of time, it's hard to make a lot of retro stuff work, because I kind of have to be in my man cave doing my thing by myself and not on my Switch portably for a lot of the retro games that I want to play. But yeah, that's it for me.
I mean, 4 games, you're still spreading out pretty good there. I usually tend to play like
it's 3 to 4 really.
Time.
Yeah, it's usually 3 to 4, but yeah.
I'm a 1 game at a time, and then sprinkle in my retro whenever I have downtime from it.
Awesome. That's a really cool question, Jason. Something cool to think about, and we appreciate that. And we appreciate all of you for listening to the show and just for giving us a holler and just thinking that we're cool to listen to. So thanks for that. If you want to get deeper into what we do here, the Discord is open and available. You can jump in. You can find the link in my bio on Twitter at BlockfortRetro. If you like retro giveaways, you can also follow me on Twitter, because I do about 1 or 2 giveaways a month on Twitter. It's usually something retro or something retro related. Like earlier this month, I gave away one of the new Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers units. Last month, I gave away a Wavebird, doing all kinds of stuff like that on Twitter. Those are all related to my store, which is also called Blockfort Retro. So thanks for that. John, before we close out, first of all, congratulations again on nabbing one of your holy grails. That's awesome.
Yes.
Thanks for keeping an eye out for me. Do you have anything else you want to throw into the air?
I I do actually. I was just thinking about this.
Go for it.
I talked about it maybe 4 or 5 episodes ago. I did get a hold of one of the 30th anniversary Fire Emblem collector sets. And I shared some pictures of what came in that on Discord.
Talk to me about that
in
thing,
the collections section. But yeah, man, it's fantastic. I think I made mention it comes with a 200-page art book that's oversized. It comes with a replica Nintendo Power poster for the game. It comes with a really nice formed insert for the game box itself. It comes with a replica game box, an NES game box for the game, which was never released in the US. So this is it's a one-off thing that you can't get anywhere else. And inside the replica game box is a replica manual, some other just replica inserts that you would find in a Nintendo box. There's a game code for the game, and then the piece that is the most impressive is the replica game cart that comes in the Nintendo sleeve, and it's like some kind of poly plastic, but it's hefty and it's clear, like it looks like a piece of glass, and it's really, really good. I was saying how much I wish that we would get a Zelda anniversary edition like this. I'd really like to have that replica, almost crystal like cart for the original Legend of Zelda. It'd be super nice. Or
they could make bank if they
one.
do a series of these. Seriously, like do Zelda, Metroid, even like your lesser known, or your lesser loved, like Kid Icarus and Kirby and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it's whenever I've first seen the pre-order page come up and you don't get dimensions or anything and you don't know how big it's going to be, I kind of thought this was going to be one of the smaller box pieces, similar to like a Link to the Past Link's Awakening remake. It was just a slightly smaller box that came with the art book.
Right.
I thought it was going to be something along that lines, and it came, and it's the biggest collector's edition box that Nintendo puts out for the Switch. So it's like the same as like the Three Houses collector's edition or the Xenoblade one they just put out. It's the full size one, and it's really nice, really well put together.
Awesome. Yeah, there's pictures of that in their Discord that you put up, and it looks beautiful, man. I would love to get something like that for a game that I actually care about. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, dude. All right. So on that note, make sure that you are playing Mega Man 2 this week and you're chatting about it in our Discord. I'm going to be sharing a little bit of my gameplay on Twitter, and the end of the year is coming. And so I will be putting up some vision casting and some new stuff that I have ideas for 2021. So keep an eye out for that. And thanks for listening. RetroLogic is the official podcast of Blockfort Retro. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Blockfort Retro for more of this. And that's about it for me this week. We will see you guys next time.